Hey, what's good, Wahoo Nation? So, I'm back with another one of my world famous state of the program videos, and I think I'm gonna speak for the fan base, or a lot of the fan base anyway, when I say the things that I'm about to say in this video. So, we're season's over, guys. Okay, we fell to 4-4 yesterday, and when you look at who we have coming up to close out the season, we have a bye next week, but then we have four straight games against tough opponents. Three of our last four games are on the road, and we also, in that stretch, we have three straight games against ranked opponents. We have games on the road at Pittsburgh, at Notre Dame, and then at home against SMU. That's three straight games against ranked opponents. And then we end the season at Virginia Tech, which that's a guaranteed loss every year. So we're in trouble. And I want to talk about where this program stands right now because it is not in a good place. So, as many of you guys probably saw yesterday, I did go to the game yesterday when we played North Carolina. And this was a humiliating game for us yesterday. Humiliating is the word to describe it. Okay, North Carolina is one of the worst teams in the ACC. Okay, they're one of the worst teams in the ACC, and they rank at or near the bottom of every statistical defensive category in the ACC. And what did we do? We made them look like the 85 Bears. Okay, we made them look like the 85 Bears. We we didn't even crack 80 total yards of offense in the first half. I think we finished with like 280 something total, but most of that came in garbage time. Okay, the game was over, and then I mean that was just awful, guys. That was horrible, and that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Okay, and it falls squarely on Des Kitchings, and that was some of the worst coaching I've ever seen. In fact, Des Kitchings, his time as offensive coordinator it's been terrible. Nothing has changed. We move the ball well, but it's like when we get to the red zone, it's like we hit a brick wall and we don't know what to do. Okay? These guys act like they've never even seen a football. Okay? And I don't understand on that first drive when you get to the 1 yard line, first and goal, why is Calandria under center? All right, at least do a quarterback sneak. I know your starting center was out, but still, you can do a quarterback sneak. You could do the tush push like they've done all year with Grady Brosterhouse. So, Des Kitchings, he's got to go. I've had it up to here with him. And that's something else I wanted to address in this video, too. It's not just Des Kitchings. Okay, but at the very least, if no changes are made in the off season, at the very least, Des Kitchings, he needs to be fired. Okay, I've had it with him. All right, and then the next thing I want to talk about is the quarterback situation. What has Anthony Calandria done to still be our starter? I was against this move from the very beginning. I did not want him as our starter. I wanted Tony Muskett as our starter. All right. In the last two games against Clemson and against Carolina, he comes in and throws touchdown passes. So in Anthony Calandria, he's still doing the same old dumb things that he was doing last year. He's awful decision making. He has terrible decision making. I mean, he threw two interceptions yesterday, one of which was to a defensive lineman. All right, you threw an 84-yard pick six to a defensive tackle, a guy that weighs almost 300 pounds. Okay? And that guy was begging to be tackled, and nobody made an effort. Nobody made an effort to try to tackle this guy or push him out of bounds or something. Nobody did. And that's a problem. Okay? You're throwing an 84-yard pick six to a defensive tackle. Okay? That's terrible. And Calandria, he needs to be benched. Okay, I've had it with him, and I think a lot of the fan base has too. I mean, what are we gaining with this guy? All right, at least if I was Tony Elliott, I would start Tony Muskett for the rest of the year. At least let him end his college career, or at least let him attempt to end his college career on a high note. I think he was the better choice all along. And so that's horrible. Another thing I want to talk about is the offensive and defensive lines. So the offensive line, I get it. Yesterday we had two starters out. Our center was out, and I think our right guard was out. But still, I think this is the second year that this offensive line group has all played together, and they're still not protecting. They still can't pass block. They still can't run block. They can't do anything. We can't run the ball, which that's something else I want to address in this video. I don't know what's going on here. And then, I left after that pick six, but I heard about Mikhail Boley, our left tackle, getting into it with one of the assistants, and then Tony Elliott sends him to the locker room. I heard about all that. I didn't see it, but yeah, this team is just not in a good state right now. And then as far as the defense goes, I know we had some starters out yesterday. I know Antonio Clary was out. I know that James Jackson was out too. But the biggest issue on our defense, and this has been the case the last 2 years, is the defensive line. All right, as much experience as we have with Cam Butler, Jameer Carter, Chico Bennett, Ben Smiley, all these guys are fourth or fifth years, in some cases more than that, and yet these guys they still cannot get to the quarterback. They still cannot stop the run. And so that's a problem. And going back to the offensive line, North Carolina sacked our quarterbacks 10 times yesterday. They had 10 sacks in this game. Okay? They had 10 sacks in this game. And coming into this game, they only had 15 total for the entire season. And in fact, in their last two games, they didn't have any sacks. So, I mean, what is going on here? Like I said, we made Jeff Collins, who's the defensive coordinator at North Carolina. Yes, that Jeff Collins, the former Georgia Tech head coach, made him look like Buddy Ryan. We made their defense look like the '85 Bears. Okay? And we got to change some stuff up, man. And as far as Tony Elliott goes, he's got to go. I'm sorry. On the surface, I've never met Tony Elliott. I don't know him personally. On the surface, he seems like a good man, a good person. But let's face it, guys. Tony Elliott is not a good football coach. And he's got to go. And you know what? So does Carla Williams. She has a bad track record of making bad hires. And it starts with her. All right? She's got to go. And Tony has to go. And at the very least, if nothing else happens, Des Kitchings, he has to go too. So, I'm just frustrated as a fan. And you can forget about going to a bowl game. It ain't happening, y'all. Not with this schedule. So, anyway, that's all I got for today. Leave your thoughts down below. Like and subscribe. See you next time.